Let me tell you about a conversation that happened in a break room in Denver, Colorado, sometime in early 2024. Three coworkers, all in their mid-30s, all making decent salaries, all had some money sitting somewhere doing something. They just weren't exactly sure what. The first guy, Derek, had his money in a savings account at his bank earning 0.4% interest because he was waiting to figure out investing. The second woman, Priya, had opened a brokerage account 2 years earlier, got overwhelmed trying to pick individual stocks, panicked when one of them dropped 30%, sold everything, and left the cash sitting idle ever since. And the third guy, Andre, was the quiet one who rarely talked about money at work. During the conversation, Derek asked him what he did with his savings. Andre said 4 words: "I just buy VOO." Derek asked what VOO was. Andre explained it was an ETF, an exchange-traded fund, that simply tracks the S&P 500, buys all 500 companies at once, automatically, in proportion to their size. He put $400 a month in every month for 6 years, never tried to pick individual stocks, never watched the market obsessively, never sold during downturns. Derek and Priya both asked the same question. "That's it?" Andre said, "That's it." And here's what's remarkable about this story, because it sounds too simple to be true. Andre's account balance after 6 years of $400 monthly contributions into a simple S&P 500 index fund based on the index's actual performance over that period was sitting somewhere north of $45,000. More than $28,000 of that was pure growth, money his money made without him doing anything except not touching it. Neither Derek's savings account nor Priya's abandoned brokerage account came anywhere close to that outcome. And the thing is, Andre isn't special. He didn't have a finance degree, he didn't read annual reports or track earnings calls or watch CNBC every morning. He just understood one concept clearly enough to act on it and stay the course. That concept is the S&P 500, and according to Fidelity's March 2026 data, it has delivered an average annual return of 11.5% over the last 40 years. According to The Motley Fool, since 1957, the S&P 500 has delivered an average annual return of 10.33% through wars, recessions, pandemics, financial crises, political chaos, and everything else the world has thrown at it, every single time. And yet, according to a 2025 Gallup survey, only 62% of Americans own any stock at all, including inside retirement accounts. 38% of Americans have zero exposure to the market that has generated more wealth for everyday people than almost any other vehicle in history. Most of those 38% are not avoiding the market because they know something others don't. They're avoiding it because nobody ever explained it to them clearly. Today, we fix that. Let's break down exactly what the S&P 500 is, how it works, why so many serious investors use it and almost nothing else, and how you can get started in one afternoon. Let's get into it.
If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because every week we break down exactly this kind of foundational financial knowledge that most people were never taught in school. So let's start at the very beginning. What is the S&P 500 in the plainest possible English with no jargon required to understand it? The S&P 500 stands for Standard & Poor's 500. Standard & Poor's is a financial data company. They're the people who created and maintain the index. The 500 refers to the 500 largest publicly traded companies in the United States, weighted by market capitalization. The index includes companies like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, JP Morgan Chase, Johnson & Johnson, Visa, Walmart, and 493 others that represent the backbone of the American economy across virtually every industry that exists. Here's the most important thing to understand about what the S&P 500 actually is. It is not a stock. You cannot buy the S&P 500 directly. What the S&P 500 is, technically speaking, is an index, a list of 500 companies with a mathematical formula that tracks how their combined value changes over time. Think of it like a scoreboard for the American economy. When those 500 companies collectively become more valuable, the index goes up. When they collectively lose value, the index goes down. The reason this matters so much is what you can do with it. You cannot buy the scoreboard, but you can buy a fund that tracks the scoreboard. These are called index funds, and they exist in two forms that are available to any American with a brokerage account. The first form is a mutual fund, like the Vanguard 500 Index Fund or the Fidelity 500 Index Fund, which pools investors' money together and buys shares in all 500 companies proportionally, so that when the index moves, your investment moves with it. The second form is an ETF, or exchange-traded fund, like VOO from Vanguard, IVV from iShares, or SPY from State Street, which works essentially the same way but trades on the stock market throughout the day like an individual stock does, giving you more flexibility around when you buy and sell. Both forms accomplish the same fundamental thing. By owning one fund, you own a piece of 500 of the largest American companies simultaneously. A single purchase of VOO means you own a proportional slice of Apple, of Microsoft, of Amazon, of Visa, and 496 others, all at once with one click for whatever one share costs. The diversification that used to require a team of analysts and a large portfolio is now available to anyone with $100 and a Fidelity or Schwab account. That is genuinely one of the most democratizing developments in the history of personal finance.
Now, here's the question that most people have after understanding what the S&P 500 is. Why do so many serious, sophisticated investors use this one simple thing instead of trying to pick better stocks, find better funds, or use more advanced strategies? The answer is both simple and backed by decades of research that has never been seriously overturned. The first reason is the performance record, and it is extraordinary by any measure. According to Fidelity's updated data as of December 2025, the S&P 500 has averaged an annual return of 11.5% over the last 40 years. The Motley Fool's analysis puts the average since 1957 at 10.33% annually. And according to current Y-Charts data as of July 2026, the 15-year annualized return of the S&P 500 sits at 14.23%. These are not cherry-picked good years. This is the average across bull markets and bear markets, across recessions and expansions, across wars and pandemics and financial crises. The 2022 correction wiped out nearly 20% of the index's value in a single year. The COVID crash of 2020 dropped it more than 30% in weeks. Both times, the index fully recovered and went on to new highs, rewarding everyone who stayed invested and punishing everyone who sold in fear. The second reason is what research consistently shows about the alternative. The alternative to owning an S&P 500 index fund is trying to pick individual stocks or paying an actively managed fund to do it for you. And the data on this is one of the most unambiguous findings in all of finance. According to S&P SPIVA scorecard, which tracks active fund managers against their benchmark indexes year after year, over any given 15-year period, approximately 85 to 90% of actively managed large-cap funds underperform the S&P 500 index after fees. Not a few, not half. Nearly 9 out of 10 professional fund managers whose entire job is to beat the market failed to do so over a long enough period. If professionals with research teams, Bloomberg terminals, and decades of experience can't consistently beat a simple index fund, what does that suggest about an individual investor trying to pick their own stocks in their spare time? The third reason is cost. An S&P 500 index fund, like the Fidelity Zero Large Cap Index Fund, charges literally zero in annual fees. Vanguard's VOO charges 0.03%, 3 cents per $100 invested per year. Schwab's S&P 500 Index Fund charges 0.02%. Actively managed funds typically charge between 0.5% and 1.5% or more annually. On a $200,000 portfolio, a 1% fee difference costs $2,000 a year. Over 30 years at a 10% return, that fee difference compounds into more than $200,000 of lost wealth. The fourth reason is psychological. Owning a simple S&P 500 index fund removes the temptation to trade, to sell when things feel scary, to rotate into whatever is hot right now, to react to every piece of financial news. Studies consistently show that individual investors who trade frequently significantly underperform the very funds they're trading in and out of. Andre in Denver didn't have superior knowledge, he had superior behavior, and the simplicity of owning one index fund made that behavior easy to maintain. All right, here's the part that turns understanding into action, because the most valuable thing this video can produce is not that you now understand what the S&P 500 is, it's that you actually go do something with that understanding this week. Because Derek in Denver still hasn't started. He understood the concept perfectly after that break room conversation, he just hasn't opened the account yet. Don't be Derek. Here is exactly what to do, step by step in plain English. Step 1. Choose where to open your account. For most Americans, the right answer is one of 3 brokerages: Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. All 3 are free to open, charge no account minimums on their S&P 500 index funds, and have been among the most trusted financial institutions in America for decades. Fidelity and Schwab both have excellent mobile apps and 24/7 customer service. Vanguard is the original home of index fund investing and the place the movement started. Any of the 3 will serve you well. The most important thing is picking one and opening the account today, not spending 3 weeks comparing them. Step 2. Choose the right account type before you choose the investment. If your goal is retirement savings and you have earned income, the Roth IRA is almost always the right starting account for most Americans in their 30s and 40s. The 2026 annual contribution limit is $7,000 for people under 50. Your money grows completely tax-free inside a Roth IRA, and withdrawals in retirement are also tax-free, meaning every dollar of S&P 500 growth you generate over 30 years is yours to keep without owing the government a percentage of it. If you have a 401k at work with an employer match you haven't maxed out yet, that comes first. The employer match is a guaranteed 50 to 100% return on every matched dollar before you've even touched the market. Step 3. Choose your S&P 500 fund. Inside a Fidelity account, the Fidelity Zero Large Cap Index Fund charges 0 fees. Inside a Vanguard account, VFIAX, the Vanguard 500 Index Fund Admiral shares, charges 0.04% annually. Inside a Schwab account, SWPPX, the Schwab S&P 500 Index Fund, charges 0.02%. If you prefer an ETF that trades throughout the day, VOO from Vanguard, IVV from iShares, and SPY from State Street are the 3 largest and most liquid S&P 500 ETFs available. Any of these is an excellent choice. Step 4. Set up an automatic monthly contribution and turn on dividend reinvestment. The automatic contribution means you invest consistently regardless of what the market is doing or how you feel about it on any given month. Dividend reinvestment means the dividends your fund pays automatically buy more shares, compounding working in its most mechanical, effortless form. These 2 settings together, automatic contribution and dividend reinvestment, are the entire system that produced Andre's $45,000 account with $28,000 of pure growth. Andre is not a genius. He just did these 2 things consistently for 6 years and didn't touch it. Derek now has his account open. He made his first $400 contribution the week after that break room conversation in 2024. His account balance as of this year is building exactly the way Andre's did, one consistent monthly contribution at a time, owned by no one except him, growing through every market condition the world throws at it. There is no simpler path to long-term wealth in America than this one. That's it for today's video. If this finally made the S&P 500 click for you, hit that like button and share this with someone who keeps saying they'll figure out investing someday. This might be the video that gets them to actually start. Subscribe to Dollar Neck Finance if you're not already here, because we cover exactly this kind of foundational financial content every single week. Drop a comment below. Are you already investing in an S&P 500 index fund, or is today the day you start? I read every single comment. See you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay building.